check with them too. And don't assume. There's so many people, I heard this. You can't do that. You got to trust what the colleges say. Trust what's in black and white from those campuses. Long answer, but hopefully that clears it up in a very confusing process.
I get a question again. Can I ask you another question?
Oh my God, love it.
All right. So I've got a senior in high school and a daughter in college.
Yes.
Distance learning continues.
Correct.
Okay. Do I still have to pay full tuition and a cutback, or is this based on school to school?
Oh, so you're talking about fall 2020.
Well, even now, do I get partial credit back for this school year or no? And what about next year? No.
Yeah, I mean,
So let's say my son flies away and he's going to University of X. When he gets to University of X, they're like, well, you're not flying away to University of X. You're going to be University of X from home. Is the tuition cut in half?
No, I mean, think about, are those professors, salaries cut in half, right? Are your utilities bill cut in half? And unfortunately, no, right?
But I probably would be compensated for dorm rooms and all that living
stuff.
There's
a lot of people who are concerned, like, what if I have to still be doing this in the fall? And I go, yeah, that is a possibility, because right now, like, I know in certain states, they're not even allowing large gatherings over the summer. And what if this doesn't get better? I mean, there's a lot of what ifs, but for those families who are like worried about budgeting, a couple of things. One, like you said, if your school says we're not opening in the fall, well, you are saving from the paying for the dorms, which sometimes, especially for the state schools in California, are almost practically double than the tuition. Second thing, some people have said to me, but then why don't I just go to a local school here and then transfer later? Well, think about before all this happened. Every student was thinking about, whether it be your daughter who's in her college or someone who's thinking about going to college, about, well, I want to be part of a community. I want to have that network opportunity. I want to have that quality of that education. I want those professors who bring their real life research opportunities. And there's great professors at every school and community out there. But there's something that each individual loves, right? Why you work at a certain industry, why you work for a certain company, the same type of ideology. You're going to miss out if you choose not to be part of that in the fall. Right? Even though you're not physically next to somebody, the resources, the connections. I loved it. Franklin Marshall, even on their Instagram account, was talking about I apologize what the exact name, but I think it's called Dim Cares, where they have all these resources and connections for students. I mean, it was massive. You're not going to necessarily see that at other schools. Or Lehigh University talking about, hey, we want to hear from everyone who are they thankful for during this COVID-19 pandemic, right? So that is what's happening in different communities in different ways. And you still want to be part of that. So that's something to keep in mind. A story that I share with a lot of people, I had a relative who had to start spring semester somewhere, not in the fall. And so they did their kind of own different learning. It was very hard for them because they weren't networking with the campus that everyone else was and what everyone else was doing. Now, luckily for us, this is Navina, right? Like, who's both our nieces. Basically, she was just like, still connecting with the class. She was still working with her future classmates, and it became an amazing experience because she was still networking and being connected. Now, I know you had another question.
So with this leading the next steps for seniors, they're a little nervous about the future, and there are a lot of uncertainty. What advice for you, being with all the students you work with, what advice would you give to a senior?
One
to
thing,
make them at ease.
Yeah, I think one thing to validate how you're feeling right now, right? I'll be honest. I have, I talked to some seniors who kind of, hey, I like being at home, right? Like they're appreciating that time with their family and stuff. I have some other people who are just a little bit nervous, but keeping it calm. And then I have some other ones who, as one parent says, feels like they're in a dark cloud. Mm. And in each way, and I think even for the adults out there, people are feeling it's a sucky situation in one way or the other. And you have to acknowledge that feeling, communicate that with other people so they could validate that, reach out to those people. That's important. However, though, if you're just focusing that it's sucky, you will feel stuck and be stuck in your situation. And that is never a healthy thing. You need to figure out what I heard today, which really rung true, is that how will I change this situation for me personally that I have control over? And if you expect everything to be the same, then you're also not allowing innovative ideas and experiences. Mm-hmm. That's something that's really key. So for all the seniors out there, go think about what you can do in this situation. There's a beautiful thing called technology, just even with your cell phone. I've seen amazing fun things at TikTok. I've seen people, I remember I saw one on TikTok where this guy went to his grandmother while social distancing and doing a dance routine together, But I've also seen people playing musical instruments to neighbors, right? There is so much that can be done. And I think we keep on focusing what we can't do from the past, and we're not focusing what we can do for the future. Mm.
So you and I, we had to cancel our trip to the university.
Yes.
With him. So what can, and I know you've done it for us, but for other people, how can we keep the connection between the college and the students? What do they have to do? Yeah,
so whether you've decided for those class of 2020 seniors, if you decide where you're going, or you're trying to figure out, even if you're a class of 21 or 22, where you like to go, because this is a big time during that this time of the year for people to visit schools and such. Well, there's actually, I'll be honest with you, I've learned more with what's out there right now than if I visited one or two colleges. So what do I mean? A lot of campuses are doing virtual tours. Some do this one where it's a program, like whether it be through companies like uvisit.com or through campus tours. A lot of people have student information systems like Naviance or SCORE that has that connected to it out there. But at the same time, what I've really learned a lot from is Instagram. Now, you may be an adult out there that's not into it. If you're interested in college, you need to create an Instagram account. And then students, if you need to create a college type Instagram and you follow all your colleges, they're doing like live chats. They're doing now with Instagram story. You and I could do a visual interview where you're talking to current students. You're talking to people who graduated from the school, what opportunities they learned from the school, talking to different professors.
Now, if a student senior hasn't picked their school yet and they're doing this, what is the deadline?
So every year, it's been May 1st is the SIR, the student intent registration. There are been a few schools, not a lot, but a few that have extended that to June 1st. But if you have one school that has a May 1st deadline and you have another school that says, okay, you could decide by June 1st, you tell me which deadline should you focus on?
June 1st.
May 1st.
June 1st.
May 1st.
I'm gonna give my time.
Yeah, but if one of your other schools if you're thinking about Aaron University, that has a May 1st deadline, and then Aaron College has a June 1st, if you decide to go to Aaron University, you're going to miss out on that deadline waiting for June 1st. So you want to look at the earliest deadline. The earliest deadline, which the only earliest one there is May 1st for those schools on your list. So you will need to make a deposit. It will be non-refundable. Some campuses with the dorms also have a May 1st deadline. It varies for each campus. So like I said before, check with each campus. And you should only be picking one campus, which talks into a little bit different about wait list. But you had another question.
So college is going to be open this fall? Since you're talking deadlines, are they going to be open this fall?
So I'm going to talk about an experience that we had. There was... Again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. There is a lot of rumors and information. So somebody that I know that works in the university level said to me, hey, I heard your son's school where he's going to is not even having school in the fall. I'm like, what? So I went through all my email on the school's website, and the campus says there is rumors out there that we're not opening in the fall. And we have plans to open in the fall, but we also have a plan B in case we don't. And that's pretty much every college and university.
So they're going to be open no matter what, but there's going to be plan A or plan B, but it'll be open.
Exactly. Life continues on, but with change in one way or the other. So I understand people want everything back to normal, but this is our situation now. But you have to also remember what I said before, be patient.
So you say plans change, okay?
Yes,
got
I
a
do.
4-year college. Okay, going for it. Say one of the kids got a 4-year scholarship.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on, will they honor that 4-year scholarship, or are they going to go, you know what? Times really hard. We have to change that scholarship. How does that work?
So just like if you have a contract with a company and you have a 4-year contract for 4 years at a certain salary, they'll honor it. So if you have a merit award or a talent scholarship that says 4 years in the language and you uphold your end of the bargain, that campus and university has their budget set up for that 4 years that's set up. If it's a 1 year, where a scholarship thing, or if you're like, I'm not sure if this scholarship that's free money or this grant usually is need-based aid that is free from the campus, email the financial aid office and ask that question. So that's something that is important for all families and students to kind of look at. And for juniors or sophomores out there, if you do that net price calculator, we talked about that in past episodes, you could do that and still follow up with a financial aid office.
All right. So people in my work are getting laid off left and right. All right.
Yes.
And let's say they applied for financial aid and the financial aid already went through, but everything's changed. So your budget is totally different than it was last year. Do you go back in, refill it out? Do you contact them? Do you have to just wait? What happens?
So it depends.
Or is there going to be a long wait? Because unemployment doesn't even answer their phones. So let's answer that.
Yeah, and I know you listen to the news on EDD about the EDD department. Remember, the financial aid office is run separately through the government. They use government information, but they don't. So it depends on the time. If right now, if you're have a parent or guardian who is furloughed or laid off, yeah, your income has changed. So contact the financial aid office of the campus you are going to see if they could make adjustments known as unusual circumstances. You will have to write, you have to explain the situation, and then the campus will reassess. If anything, their financial aid will at least be the same, or you could get more. When we had a meeting with a student, there was no change in the finances, but they needed more money in their financial aid offer, so they did what's called an appeal and actually got more money. Now, let's just say something happens, like, knock on wood, God forbid, if you get laid off late summer or right in the beginning of August and fall, yes, you can still do the same of presenting to the financial aid office unusual circumstances. Mm-hmm. But remember, everyone, whether you're going to be a rising senior or if you are in college, October 1st, you should put that as an alarm or anniversary. That's when your financial aid forms for the FAFSA or CSS profile for those schools that require that additional form comes out every year. You have to reapply. So come out for the 21-22 application. What they're going to be looking at is 2019 income. Well, this pandemic happened, I know, at the beginning of, at the end of December 2019, but people's income across the nation has really been impacted 2020. So if you are in that situation and you're a junior right now, start preparing that extra documentation, because schools that only use the FAFSA form, the free application for student aid, don't have a paragraph where you could do that. You have to email that to each of the colleges you're applying to. The CSS profile, which over 400 colleges use nationwide, there is a paragraph where you could explain those unusual circumstances. So great question.
All right. So summer's coming up. What can my kids do if they're still shelter in place? What can they do?
There's actually more than not. So there is, check with your county that you're in. A lot of them have budgets over the summer for employment opportunities.
And is there information for this?
Yeah. So some of them you'll see that they'll say application deadlines have been extended because everyone had to adjust during this period. And some employers may do, there's not going to be a lot, I'll be honest with you, that may do some distant working, just like what you're doing and I'm doing. And so that's one opportunity. So don't assume everything's shut down. The second thing is check with your state or your local county if they have a volunteer program in California.